Hello, 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 everybody, and welcome to the next of our Arcana Antiqua, Candela Obscura Game. We have everybody except for Felix today, which he may be later, but maybe not. Just a little housekeeping. We will not be on next week as we've got holidays coming around for everybody, but we will be back first week of April. And then from that point on, we're going to be the last week of the month for a couple weeks to finish up this arc. Um, Other than that, we can just jump right in. If anybody else has got some stuff, housekeeping you got to do, Romeo, for.
No major housekeeping, although I'll post the thing as well, but the official start date of Campaign 2 will be the second weekend of April, i.e. the 14th, barring unforeseen changes, but so far that is the estimated plan. Tune in then for the resumption of your ancient Greek D&D adventures. But that's all from me.
Okie doke. Alrighty, so we are going to dive back into New Fair and the outer Goopier Harbor sections of it, where our gang of investigators had just sort of posted up outside of the door of this pretty bleed-heavy shack. And last week where we stopped off, you guys were just about to push the door open to go in. And I believe, Brenton, I believe you were taking point on this.
Yes.
So you are standing hand on the hand.
No,
on
that was
the...
me. I pushed him out of the way.
Oh,
okay, girly pop. Let's get it, girl. Okay, so daughter's up in front, and then we've got dad behind her. Okay, so Bernadette, how do you want to go in?
I turn back to everyone and just nod. And then push open the door.
Okay. You push open the door, and it is dark and gross in there, and there is the shadow of a figure in the door opens inward, and you can see that there is a figure on the other side of it.
I step in, slowly, trying to be as non-threatening as I possibly can be, considering that I just am entering this home without warning.
And you enter in, and with the sand, there's sand underneath the boards of this house, so it's all muffled and quiet. You don't have to try that hard to not make that much noise. But you walk in, and you come across a figure that's hunched over at a work table, and you see in this place, there are just papers everywhere. And at this work table, there's some weird apparatus, and just a quick glance, you notice that there are sketches of creatures on the walls. You can notice and pin those up. But also too, you sort of eyes settle on the figure, and it is a figure you recognize, and it is Dr. Norman, and he is going over these papers at the workbench in here.
Hey, Doc.
Oh, good. You made it. Nice to see you. Sorry about being late, but this is interesting. Looking over these paper documents and stuff like that. Is the rest of the group here?
I assume we all filter in. I've been right behind Bernadette.
Yeah.
You didn't come to the meeting spot. And how are you here before us?
Yeah, both those things make me uneasy, mate.
I apologize for my missing the deadline, but my contact took me to here in a local morgue. Says that the daughters have been working here. Correct me if I'm wrong, Hannah.
Yes, you did. You got some information from your contact that the they had somebody come in that bought the crystal orb because you had asked after some of the artifacts that you guys had found at the table in the ritual, and your contact ended up getting back to you that one of the housemaids for the daughters of Lieutenant Evans was asking around after these sorts of things.
Okay, so this is the place where they would have gotten the crystal ball?
Yes.
So my contact informed me that this is a place where they were perhaps selling the crystal balls. So I came here thinking I could get here and back in time, but it appears that wasn't necessary, as you all found the same leads. So
this is where they buy the
or at least where
apparatus.
the transaction would have taken place, but I don't see anyone here selling, so I'm not sure.
I don't see much in the way of wares either.
Yeah.
Is this just like a handoff spot rather than a shop front?
Yep,
Quite possibly.
That's what
Is it-
that's the feel that you guys are getting. And what were you going to ask?
Is there more to this shack than just like this one room? Like, is there an upstairs, downstairs that we can see that's obvious, or?
There is a little tuck away up at the top. Just like a little. There's not like a full second floor. This place is essentially like a dock shed, so there would be like a top loft for rope and stuff like that. So there is an upper storage level, but this is just one big room that the floor has been filled back in with sand and boards over the top of it. And you've got a big workbench in which you are standing in front of, and on that workbench you have you've got papers and a lot of like sketches and figuring out like mathematical things, and Doc, you recognize like medical references in these notes. This definitely feels like a workshop, a handoff place, sort of just like a safe house that a surprising amount of people have come in and filtered through.
Hey, Doc. Brenton's thinking too, like, the last time you saw the doctor, and he's a little paranoid. What's in my breast pocket?
What's in your breast pocket? Is it the syringe I gave you?
Yeah. All right. And Breton seems slightly satisfied, if nothing else.
I've only just gotten here myself, so I haven't had a chance to explore what's up there. But these medical papers seem not run-of-the-mill black market or just strange hermit in a shack type thing. It does seem that there might be some merit to what my contact had to say. Is there anything in those paperwork that reference the crystal ball or points of sale or bleed experimentation with things like the crystal ball?
Yes. So you looking down over those papers, you've got on these pages that you find out that you're looking at something that's more mathematical in nature, and because somebody had remarked on essentially like the size of this seems a bit excessive, like what so it does seem like that there was some thought and even mathematics that went into the items that they picked that were selected for the ritual that killed the medium at the party. You can also see that there are some pages that they have that reference some inmates at Gracelate, which you would know that there are a collection of inmates in Gracelate that are high bleed, people that are just there, and you can see looking over that it's like a shorthand of some of the notes on those people. You also see that there is a list of names filled with names that are like crystal, ambrosia, opal, emeralds, and
Portia.
yeah, those sorts of names. And I'm sure for the people that were looking, that were searching for information on the girls that and the mediums, that definitely sets off a flag in people's brains. Also, for everybody that just wants to look around and like check this place out, depending on what you would like, is the roll that you can get me. So if you want to get if you want an occult sort of leaning, roll me a sense. If you want to just get a general, you just want a general look around, either like a survey or a read or something like that. So if you guys want to roll something like that, go right ahead.
I'd like to check for loose floorboards that may be compartments or spaces behind a drawer in cabinets. Any place where someone might think to stash something that they don't want found.
Okie doke. That would be a survey for that one.
Okay.
And I'm gonna roll sense. I'm gonna spend an intuition on that.
Okie doke.
Can I just... Oh, sorry. Go first.
I'm going to try and see if there are any hidden exits or entryways. Walter's getting the Shrieking Shack vibes, and is wondering whether or not this is kind of has any connection to any other buildings. So look specifically for secret routes.
Absolutely. If you want to do a survey or a read, I would take for either of those. And Odette, what did you need?
I just want to do, because everyone's looking in very specific spots, I just want to do like a general scan. So take a step away and be like, okay, let's look at the bigger picture. Let's see if something's off in the bigger picture.
Also, could I focus my sense mostly on the doctor? Because before coming in, I sensed that there was something very bleed-infected coming from here, and he's the only person in here. Okay. So I'm still standing there, super suspicious, kind of looking angry almost. Mm-hmm. Just trying to see if I get a ping or something from him.
Okay.
Mixed success.
Alrighty. So
success.
For Odette,
6.
Wonderful.
I got a 5.
Okie doke. And my brain just emptied out. I apologize. Okay, so we've got Brenton and Walter. You guys are looking for little hidey holes or little escape hatches. So you guys go and Brenton, you focus on the floor for the moment, and Walter, you focus on the floor, and it becomes pretty obvious when you start to look that there is the whole middle section of the floor has been added, and there are a couple of boards, a couple of the longer boards that lead up to the far wall that go underneath the workbench that are able to be pried up. And Walter, you looking, you can see that the back wall that the workbench is on, that essentially there is just another board in front of the wall, so you can essentially see that there is that there's something else back there. And Bernadette, you looking at the doctor, you know that the doctor has, when you're around him, he has items on him that do read to you as very high bleed. But I think also you sort of let your senses expand beyond the edges of just the doctor, and you feel that there is still something else here. And then Odette, you just giving it like the general, right? You were just giving the general glance around. You start to look, and you've been working on a story that like there are these like ghosts and things that would be roaming the docks and come and just create some havoc for people around here. And you are sort of looking with that kind of an eye, and I think you look around and you see that in an effort to like kind of debunk this like mystic kind of a thing, you can see that like there are sections of the roof that don't go all the way down, so yes, a cat can slip in here and make noise. There are sections that you can see through to the outside, like there's a single broken window on the long wall, and one of the panes is like busted out, so you can hear that the wind comes through here. And I think you sort of look around and you take in sort of the manic research that is about this place, and you realize that this is a hideout, and this is a place that, and maybe this is the place that all of the ghosty things are coming through from. Like, maybe this is the origin of that, because this is the furthest shack out, and according to what everybody has been saying, there's a ton of people coming through here. So I think that's what you think when you just sort of take this whole situation in. Anybody else? Did I miss anyone? I don't think so.
If I may pry the boards open, see what there is to see.
Okay, yeah. So you know what? Give me a strike. See if you can pull those up in one roll.
Oh, I will.
Walter's going to use his cane to kind of sort of lever what he thinks is the boards that are covering the secret entrance away.
Okie doke.
5 on the gilded.
Okay. Alrighty. So with that and the assist from Walter, the boards come up quite easily, and underneath is just ink black sand. And at first you're like, oh, it's dark. But then it starts to like glob together and coalesce, and it reaches up and grabs right for your arm. What would you like to do?
Do I have time to react?
Yes, you do. I'm giving it to you right now.
And it seems putty-like.
Yes. Putty-like oil sludge.
Back up! And I just shove anybody who's next to me out the way.
Alrighty. And that motherfucker.
What?
Alright.
What, Tamara?
Dad! You keep doing this.
And that
That's what I'm built for, baby girl.
this like sticky sort of arm just reaches up and hits you, Brenton, square in the chest, and you do manage to push everybody else back, but this sludge sort of like pulls you in towards it and is using you to pull itself up to be a bit taller than you.
Can I attempt to use the cane to kind of like trying to kneecap a thing, just try and thwack at the limbs that are grabbing onto Brenton, just to kind of give him a fighting chance to kind of pull himself away?
Yeah. Give me a strike for that. And anybody else who would like to do something, roll a d6, and we'll throw you in an initiative from there.
Me too?
Yes, you too.
Okay, so this is at disadvantage, my strike. So I might have to use a nerve just so it's not shit.
That's a 2 on my initiative.
Let's give it a go.
5 for Odette.
Balls.
6.
Remind me how resistances work?
One
The
second,
rerolls.
I'll pull it out.
The resistance will give you a reroll.
Okay. I rolled a 3, which failed. I'm going to burn a resistance to re-roll, which means I'm going to now be doing a roll at disadvantage for this one.
Yep.
Provided I definitely did. I have a. Yes, I did have a resistance, so it's fine. Okay, so roll at disadvantage. I got 2 1s.
Oh. You
doing-
hit Brenton sneak out.
You're doing great. This is gonna go very well.
You absolutely
I burned
hit
all the
one of
things
Brenton's
and.
legs.
You tried really hard to fumble.
Yep.
Okay, Brenton, you don't take a mark or anything, but he just absolutely just gets one of your knees, and it is painful. Okay, so what have we got for everybody's
Oh
initiative?
shit, I've got to do initiative as
2.
well, sorry.
4.
Remind me how we do initiative again, sorry?
Just
roll a
give me a
D6.
flat D6, and I'll put you in from there.
I got a 6.
Okay.
Nice. I got a 5.
Roll this bad boy. And it's a 2 from me.
Brenton, did you get a 4? Is that what you said?
2.
2. Okay. And
Bernadette
was
got a
it-
4.
Okay, there you go. And did you get a 1, Walter?
That was a 2.
2. Okay. I was like,
No, the one is
damn.
I got 2 1s earlier. So, I was getting her
I
out
was
of the
like,
way early.
back to back to back is a lot. All right. Okie doke. So we've got. This is the one time that you don't want good initiative, and you've been rolling pretty good, Jordan. So yeah, what would you like to do, bud?
I would like to back up towards the entrance of the shack. Probably notice that, say something like, "You're new," and then bravely stand in the doorway, way to the back of the room.
All right. So this older gentleman, this older doctor, just pushes by you, Odette, and gives you a glancing comment, and then absolutely stands behind you. You're up, babe.
I suddenly feel very strong and powerful.
You look new
I'm
and
not.
sturdy. I'm gonna stay back
Is it
here.
going to be you who shoots me by accident? I'm trying to figure out who it's going to be amongst everybody who shoots me in the ass by accident.
Nope. I'm gonna
Your daughter.
I'm gonna take out my camera and I'm gonna take a picture of this thing. See what happens.
Okay.
I'm a journalist.
I mean that is exactly what I was planning to do for the flash effect. So I think that's a good call.
Interesting. Okay, though.
Walter, no dance.
Yep.
The new OTP now that Felix is in here.
I'm more mad that we shared a brain cell, but sure.
No, I know. I was teasing you. Okay, so you take a picture, and it doesn't react or anything. It doesn't pull itself. It doesn't do anything to Brenton either. So you now have a picture of what is essentially Venom.
Cool.
Crawling up and squaring up with Brenton. Is that all that you'd like to do, my dear?
Yeah, I'll just say, Brenton, you look great! With the camera still up. You look great, Brenton! It looks so good in the papers!
Bernadette, you are up next.
Okay, so it didn't react at all to the flash?
It just sort of stopped. It didn't keep... It was like moving. It didn't do really anything. The other one
like
before...
the other one.
Yeah, not the same.
Okay, I'm gonna use another one of the dragon fire bullets and shoot straight at the thing.
My eyebrows!
Close your eyes, Dad! And I'm also gonna spend a nerve because I really don't want to hit my dad.
Okay.
Ooh, that's a 6 on the gilded.
Hey!
Get
Alrighty.
that back.
So that is as an automatic success, and so you end up somehow threading the needle, and you thread the needle with a baseball bat. Nobody knows how you did it, but you managed it. And this dragonfire bullet ends up hitting this sludge, and it sort of like, you know those, I think it's called the semi-permeable solid, when you can jump on that cornstarch stuff and
Yeah.
it'll be, and then, but if you stood there, it sinks.
Yeah.
And that's sort of the kitchen experiment that we see happen as this slug hits. And it just burns from the inside. And we've got Brenton and then Walter. I'll say Brenton first and then Walter, even though you guys are on the same turn.
And to clarify, this thing definitely seems to be accosting me. It's like, feels like it's trying to hurt me.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Cool.
It is absolutely like, you can now feel it through like the layers of like wool and linen that you're wearing. Like, it's caustic. Like, it is like sort of like tar. It's, yeah.
Is it solid
Your hand
enough
up
when I
right with
grab
it.
it, like there's haptics to it?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. I grab its wrist, grab its shoulder with the other arm, and you all hear like the arm tighten. And I'm gonna try tear its arm off.
Okay.
You straight up hear a like a hydraulic press ramping up as I apply all the torque I can onto this thing's shoulder.
Alrighty, you can give me either. I'll let either strike or control.
Strike, definitely strike.
Go for it.
And I'm gonna blow 2 nerve because I want this to hurt. So that's 3 base for a total of 5.
Okay.
5 on the gilded.
Fuck yeah. Alrighty, so the mechanics of your arm, it starts to like whir and scream, and the metal from your arm, it starts to like heat and glow a little bit, and that is even echoed at the interior core of this creature where that fire bullet is still going. And you, with torque and violence that you have been waiting for, you end up tearing.
I've been waiting for this moment.
You tear the limb from this creature, and the you pull the limb from you. The creature, you see, there just seems to be another movement from the like central column of this creature. It's not dead yet, and it's got something else going on it, but you have definitely put a hurt on it. Walter, what would you like to do, my friend?
Okay, so attempting to kind of bat away the creature didn't seem to do much, and I kind of noticed the Newtonian fluid-esque element to the creature in terms of how it moves. So I'm going to try another attack this time, and this time I'm going to go in again with the cane, but rather going to strike, I'm aiming. In fact, I kind of like aim to kind of like wedge it between one of the sections that's holding on to Brenton, and then I'm just going to kind of just gently lean back with my body weight to try and almost stretch, or like either stretch or just like elongate the limb, or just have it kind of just like pull away naturally, but just kind of like a scientist just messing around with some weird substance. I'm just going to be kind of trying to adjust the way in which it's holding on to Brenton by kind of liching in and gently, without a great deal of force, kind of almost wiggling the staff through the limb.
Okay, hell yeah. So that I will, what I'm going to say that does is that'll give an extra d6 to whoever makes the next strike or attack on it.
Okay.
And is there anything else that you would like to do? Well, I've got you.
Do I recognize or see a face that comes from this blob, or is it literally just a blob?
Literally just a blob at the moment.
No, not really. My focus is kind of more on the concern of how close Brenton might be to bleed.
Okay.
And just kind of put himself a little bit more further in harm's way than he otherwise probably would have. Because he's a little concerned at how well grabbed he is. But no other action.
Alrighty. Oof. And this creature. Okay, Brenton. So we've got. Okay, so this creature, Walter, even though you do create a wedge and some space and just sort of get yourself in there as an extra obstacle, it is wrapped up with Brenton at this moment. And Brenton, you are going to take a body mark from the sort of like caustic acid tar kind of a thing that this creature has going, as it sort of just tries to like envelop you like a la gelatinous cube. Okay, and then we are back to the top of the round with Dr. Norman. How's your doorway going? Holding it down real good over there, babe.
Keeping it open. It's
Okay.
anyone needs to flee, I got you. I guess I'll be kind of studying the blob as they're fighting, just based off of my own research and what I know of the bleed and the creatures that I've come across. Just kind of looking for any sort of weakness that I could maybe shout out or something like that, if that's a thing.
Okay. You are looking at this whole thing. You think that if this creature doesn't overtake Brenton in a physical way, Brenton will absolutely very shortly become at risk for taking bleed. So after this round, mechanic-wise, you definitely believe that Brenton is going to be at risk for taking bleed.
Okay. Could I do a focus roll to see if there's anything that can help him get clear of it? As far as, like, they shot it with a fire breath weapon, they've done a flash, it doesn't seem like it's reacting to fire. Is there anything else, maybe from looking at the paperwork or in the room, that might suggest how this thing has been contained or controlled in any sort of way?
Yes. So I will say that the thing that's done the most damage so far has been the Dragonfire Slug. If you want to take the moment to start going through the paperwork, you would see that there are references to... It's essentially just called the Shadow. And it is just sort of glancing over it. It's referenced like it is connected to someone like that is in the papers. You don't really, at this moment, you cannot read that fast that you could be like, I found its one weakness at the moment. But if you want to keep going, you definitely can.
Sure. Yeah, he'll basically be just sort of studying the fight and the room and what he saw before they showed up, trying to come up with anything that might help. But otherwise, just guarding the door with somebody else's life. So.
Love it. Okay. Odette, what have you got going on? And then we've got Bernadette after Odette.
Okay, well, my camera didn't really work. So...
Well, it worked. It took a picture, but it didn't.
I did.
I have a
really good picture that I put in the papers. I've done my job.
Exactly.
I'm going to take out the weapon I got, and I'm gonna shoot.
Hell yeah, baby.
The
that is a control, my darling.
It is. Please. Yes, that's a 6.
Nice. All right. Okay, so you... Okay, so you get a shot off, and it hits center mass. This creature does finally... Walter, there was no face on it, but it does sort of, like, turn. Kind of like the central column of this, like, torsoed creature. Sort of like turns his attention to Odette, and Odette, you can see that the shape of this glob from where the bullet hit, another sort of like reaching appendage starts to travel out towards you. And okay, Bernadette.
Okay, so my dad looks like he's in a pretty rough spot right now.
Fine.
Correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay. I don't know if this works mechanically.
We're playing fast and loose with the mechanics, babe. Do not even worry.
So I know a forbidden ritual which can change the environment, conjure a phenomenon, or save a dying person.
Okay, bitch.
At the cost of taking a bleed mark. Bleed scar. I would like, if in any way possible, switch places with my father.
Okay, break me off a piece of how you want to do that. I will let it happen. I'm literally going to give you the ring. Got it, baby.
I think Bernadette will look at this thing and just start reciting something in a really strange tongue that none of you probably have heard of before. Her eyes just turn like super black, kind of a similar visual like that thing is, and she just melts into the ground. And where she stood, her father pops up, and she's just like, now
What the fuck?
wrapped in this,
Bernie, no!
wrapped in this thing. That will be my turn, and I take a bleed scar immediately.
Okay. Please hold. That was wonderful.
Mental note.
I love that. Okay.
Oh my god, that was so hot.
It was wonderful. Brenton, for you, time. You're exactly where you feel like you're supposed to be, and in the moment that this lilting voice of your daughter, it crawls up the back of your neck before you fully register what she's doing. And I think the moment that you feel the weight and the tension of this creature leave you, and that is when you get to scream, Bernie, no! And you come to your senses, and you take a brain mark.
Yeah.
Yes, you do. And you are not where you want to be. And you are up next, sir.
I point at the doctor. Don't you fuck me. Reach into my breast pocket, jam it into my neck, and then charge straight back in.
Okay. Okay.
What does it do?
Okay. The creature, Bernadette, you have always been a big presence when you walk into places, even if you haven't felt like it. So I don't think your stature has ever occurred to you until you are standing in a spot where a thing expected your father to be, and your father is quite a bit bigger than you are. And so you are stood there, and I think for a second you realize that you're a kid. And yes, you've made that decision, and we're here now. And this creature is dwarfing you, and there is just all of this heat and weight. And I think right in front of you, you can still see the burning and just the magma-like coil of the dragonfire bullet that is still burning in the center of this creature. And you are stood there dwarfed by it, and you hear your dad's voice more than you feel his presence. And this creature just sort of bears down on you with a weight and a pressure that is alien. And you take a body mark, and if you take a scar, I think I'm gonna have to go double check this. But if you take a scar, I believe that means that you are incapacitated. I'm gonna go double check. But for the moment, I'm gonna say that you're stunned. You took your mark, so you're good. Brenton, you can see that she is being overtaken, and sort of just being crushed by this thing. You can move in. Where are we back to now? We just did Brenton. Walter, we are up to you. What would you like?
So it was injecting the stuff into my neck the whole action?
Yes, it was.
Okay. Do I feel anything yet?
Oh yeah, you definitely do. It's instantaneous. Don't worry.
Okay.
Okay. So the form that was Brenton is now Bernadette. I'm just still kind of messing around with this form right now. Yeah, Bernie is not looking in a good way at all. So I am going to try and just take its attention at this point, just to kind of give us a little bit longer just to try and get her out of it. So kind of having still been pulling at it for a while, just seeing that I'm not I haven't really had the chance to have much of an effect, we'll then take a leaf out of Brendan's book and then kind of like retract the cane and go, "Oi, fuckhead!" And he's kind of like lifted the cane, so he's kind of holding it at sort of like the bit you hit on the ground, and he's going to aim to swing the brass bit kind of at what he presumed might be a head. So that would be a strike, I'm assuming. Do I get the D6 from the previous messing around? Or is it a fresh roll? We've lost her. Was she still there? I've lost her. I can't see her.
Oop. And we're back, everybody. Very short break. Thank you all.
So, Old Man has woken up from his nap and realised he is still in the nightmare phase. And he, I'm going on Bertram Bell on this one. And I will,
Please don't throw a whiskey glass at me.
That's it. So the aim I have is to basically. Did you catch that I've gone for a swing with the cane after kind of attempting as well? And the question I had was, because I spent the previous turn kind of trying to tease out weak spots, do I get the bonus die on my own strike?
Absolutely.
Fantastic. I'm not at disadvantage then. So that's great. Right, here we go. It is another one.
No!
Dear Lord, I'm gonna die.
Old man, no fighting.
Oh no!
I think I've lost my cane. It's got stuck in the mud.
Yeah, babe. Oh, I'm sad for you. Okay. Dr. Norman, we are back up to you at the start of the round.
Did I at least seem like I got its attention amidst my shit strike?
You did. It did at
Okay.
least turn back you. It's like, ooh.
Okay, cool. That I'll take.
Okay.
Very intrigued by the body swapping that's been going on. But also sort of tilts his head when the guy injects himself with the syringe. So I think, I'm still observing everything that's happening. I don't think I've got anything that could be useful until we're done with this.
Okay.
He'll I guess calmly suggest that perhaps a retreat's in order, and then he'll step outside the door but not run away, but just step outside the door a little bit further, a few more steps back, and then says perhaps a retreat's in order, and sort of just waits to maybe hold the door open or do something useful later.
Okay, doke. Virla, and then Virla, what you got?
Okay. How is my dear friend Bernadette looking?
She is incapacitated at the moment, babe. She's not good.
Is she far away from me?
She's probably 5 feet away from you. She's not that far. You're not giving her a burn from your gun.
I just want to grab Bernadette and start dragging her towards the doctor.
Am I not still wrapped up in the goo thing?
She's just gonna try and pull you free from the goo. The goo still holds on to you, but she does she is starting to pull you, and it's stretching and goopy. So you do move her a bit, start to extricate her. Okay, that does keep you from anything else, I'll say. Bernadette. Girly, you are incapacitated at the moment. Getting a scar. All right. Yeah, a PC drops incapacitated if they take a scar. So, that's what we've got. Okay, so we've got Bernadette. You're at least getting pulled out of the sludge. Brenton, you can see that that Odette is definitely trying to drag at Bernadette. What would you like to do?
Bernie's still pretty wrapped up in the sludge, right?
Mm-hmm.
The dilemma is trying to hurt this thing to make it let her go, or trying to pull her out. Does this thing look like it's taken damage?
Absolutely.
Okay. And what are the effects of this thing I've been injected with? Does it make me more aggressive? Does it make me more...
It makes you more powerful. So it gives you... Please hold. My thing's closed. What are your two main stats are control and strike, correct?
Move and strike. The ones I have the highest are move and strike.
Okie doke. So what I'm going to... Alright, so what that syringe does is it gives you an extra 2 dice to put into both of those.
Okay.
To move and strike.
How far away is this thing from a piece of furniture?
It's right in front of the work table, we'll say. So, like, 3 to 5 feet from the work table.
Am I able to come at it from the side that has, like, basically from an angle where the work table is between me and it?
Here's the layout of what you're looking at. With Bernadette doing the body swap, you've got essentially a sandwich in which you've got you on one end, the creature in the middle, Bernadette, and then the table is behind it.
Table is behind.
Odette has.
Sorry.
Yes, correct. So Bernadette has been pulled from immediately behind it. So you are now looking at you, goop creature, and then work table.
How hard would the work table be able to reach in this turn?
You could get there. This whole room is doable.
Hope this works. So Brenton's seen piercing damage not do it, and fire damage not do it, or at least not enough. And he thinks about the whole non-Newtonian fluid thing that you said. Stuff, when you run on it, it's solid. But when you're gradual, when you're penetrative, it's fluid, less effective. And so his actual thoughts are fuck. But like the part of his brain that's still able to think tactically is like, all right, let's try surface area. And I just grab the table and just with inhuman strength at this point, raise it. I want to bring the entire, the widest part of the table just as a full-on, just like as much surface area as possible. But I want to try bludgeon damage basically as much as possible in the hopes that if this is one of those kinds of fluid type situations, it's at its most solid and therefore most vulnerable.
Okay. Give me a strike with your extra 2d6, and we'll see what happens.
Is there a limit to the amount of d6s I can roll?
No, not when you get the extra syringe.
Cool. I am going to spend... so if I spend 2 nerve, on top of... Does that mean I get to roll 7 d6s?
Yes, that sounds correct.
Cool.
But the highest result
This is important, so I will let you roll a bunch of them. This is like...
I'm spending 2 nerve for this, yeah.
6, so go ahead.
And I'm fishing for a crit.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, one of those was a 6.
Okay.
I rolled. So I only have 6 die with me, so I'm rolling one more.
Go for it.
6.
Hey, bring me off a piece of what you would like to do, Bren.
Basically, with hopefully leaving, I want to crush as much of it as I can under this table. Hopefully, pinching off like the part that's attached to Bernadette.
Yep.
And I'm hoping that I've tactically thought correct and surface area impact hurts this thing more.
Absolutely. I thought I lost power again. I almost just lost me. So, you pick up this table, and this table took up the whole... This table is big, and you end up lifting this thing, and you bring it down, and it sounds like a thunderclap. Just sort of rocks this whole room. And... you hit this creature and essentially just squash it back into the wood of the floor, and with this crack and the dropping of this table is probably 500 pounds worth of wood. You are still with this injection in you. You are stood over it, and you just bring the table down again and again and again and again and again, and the floor starts to splinter and the table starts to whine. Odette, you can easily pull Bernadette pull her up into your arms, just to get her closer towards the door and even out of this room if you would like.
Yes, please.
Wonderful. And we are out of initiative, and the creature is dead. Brenton is still sort of standing over it.
How long do the effects last?
You don't know, babe.
So it's not like after a minute, like I am still like
from outside the door. I'll call in. On a scale of 1 to 10, how aggressive do you feel in comparison to your normal? Also, could you tell me how has there been any relief to aches and pains at all? But if you start to feel drowsy, I also would like to know that. Just basically, if you feel anything out of the ordinary, it will be helpful.
Brent just turns to you and he's like, hang on.
Well, that's plenty of information for now. We'll come back in a few minutes and see how you're feeling. All right. Nobody worry. Those are not entirely unintended side effects.
Oh. Brenton,
But-
can you just take some deep breaths, please?
I had to fish out the Thraxes voice real quick.
It was perfect.
Just take some deep breaths, okay? You'll be fine. Now deep breaths. Yeah, that's it. Keep going. You're doing such a good job.
I'm going to, while this is going on, I'll is my cane retrievable without risk of bleed?
Of course, yes. You can
Right.
grab your cane back. Don't worry.
And I'm going
You
to
do have to clean it. It's kind of gross, but
Yeah, that's fine. I'm going to try and see whether now we've defeated this thing, if a path has been unblocked, or if this was just like a weird sludge that was just taking residence up there. But I'm trying to see if there is now a path or a gap that's been released, or if there's something that it was protecting that we can now see.
Okay. You can, with the table and stuff, I think you can still get enough of a look-see to see if there is something under there. And you notice the corner of this cloth bundle that's under there, it is, how big would it be? It's probably the size of a small chest, so probably you can see maybe a total of 5 inches of it, but it's probably 15 inches by 10 maybe. It's pretty sizable. And that's all that you can see under there for the moment. We've still got Bernadette incapacitated. We have still got we've got the doctor sort of paying extra attention to Brenton. Brenton, that sort of overt monstrosity feeling that you hit at the peak of that sort of dwindles, and you can enough to collect yourself and be in control of the majority of your actions. You do
Baby
take
girl,
a lead. Yes, so you go over and get over to there. She's out.
No.
Is there anything I can do for her? So she's got bleed damage that dropped her down, right? Or what incapacitated her? I think I can only heal body damage.
I believe.
I also took body damage.
All right, I'll go down with my bleed detector, aka flashlight, shine it in her eyes, try to see if she's responsive at all, and then if she's got body damage, I'll start doing the patch up, which is a focus roll, I believe.
Okay. Yep.
And try to recover some of that for her, and kind of put a hand up to her dad, being like, in your state, maybe a step back.
You see a very meek Brenton all of a sudden. All that aggression is gone. He is just, with just tears running down his face, he is just looking over. Bernadette, please wake up. But he's just kind of listless, so he'll allow himself to be pushed back.
Okay. Sigh of relief from the doctor, who was expecting to get punched. So it says you can heal 1 body mark on an ally on a 4 or 5. I got a 5. I can spend 2 I can spend 2 intuition and heal 1 body mark. So I'll do that. And does that seem to have any sort of positive impact on her well-being?
It does. It starts to it makes the caustic burns that she's got on her neck and collarbone, they just seem less angry. You do know that bleed like this is she essentially has to rest and wait to see if she wakes up, and what the scar will manifest as. You just find all that stuff out when she wakes up.
Okay. Has she ever done the melting thing before? Is that new?
No. She...
Mm-hmm.
A handful of conjurations and tricks, but nothing like this. We need to get her out now.
Well, we probably need to find a safer place for her to rest it off. But we could maybe go back to the asylum if you'd like. That'd be safe.
Our asylum? Okay. Are we using the same definition of asylum?
Like, my face didn't do anything when he suggested that. Please continue.
Did I say my surname's Norman Arkham?
Basically, would Brenton have any reason to trust an asylum as like an actual medical center, or is it a straight up loony bin? What are the in-world asylums like?
It's called Gray Slate, which is actually so they might actually just know depending on their connections.
Yeah. People with. All right, I'm just gonna be straight up with you. Military people and people that are in with Candela in any way, they know that Gray Slate is essentially the catch bin for people that have seen too much and are too big of a problem. Like,
okay,
I'm gonna say Brenton does not have anything warm going on in his self about Gray Slate. Other people maybe would have some like, oh yeah, I'm sure they're doing something over there, but Brenton is probably like, no, because Hana would have been like, that's not a place that any of us ever want to end up.
You having a fucking laugh? Walter, come on. And he'll take her back to the to Walter's if like unless there's a better
kind
idea.
of Walter kind of made that note as well. Just before we kind of move out, he's so that the task has not necessarily been in vain. He is going to attempt it, like, while this argument has been going on, and he knew that there was not really much he could kind of participate with this, he's going to try and take whatever this bundle is out, to see if he can kind of grab it or pull it out in some way.
All right, hang on.
That's right.
Excuse me, sorry. Yes, you can absolutely dig that out with your cane while everybody else is sort of dealing with Bernadette. You can definitely end up working that out from the sand and gunk. It's all wrapped up in this like dirty, kind of nasty canvas, tied up. You are more than welcome to open it now or back at the bookstore.
He's planning to do that at the bookstore, so he'll take that. It will disappear in yet another pocket, and then right on cue, he kind of has now appeared next to Brenton, and he will attempt to carry Bernadette's lower half.
Brenton has her bridal style. Like, I'm assuming
okay.
she's 80 pounds soaking wet, so he's just like.
Fine.
Yeah, and
in that case, he's just going to keep going with, and he'll just say as we're travelling, best not to climb. We'll have to take the long way, I think.
Okay.
Doc, call someone. You've got a phone, don't you?
Yeah, I'll contact. We discussed at creation that I possibly have access to a hearse ambulance. Is that a thing? If so, then I'll have my driver come and get us.
Fantastic. You're going in
sure.
a hearse. It's going great, guys. It's going great.
I'm here to help.
Ooh, Brenton is just psychologically scarred.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that
All
will
roads lead
allow
to Gray
that-
Slate.
If I see us going to
That's-
Gray Slate, I'll put 6 in your lap before I put the last one in your head.
I'm gonna while we sit down, I'm going to unscrew as we're kind of all getting in this hearse, I guess. I'm gonna kind of unscrew the top of my cane to reveal what looks to be like a little potion vial, and I'm
Okay.
it smells strongly of whiskey, and I'm gonna hand it over to Brenton.
Okay.
What the fuck is this?
For the nerves.
Are we in the ambulance?
Yes, I will
Okay,
let you
that's
guys get up and get into this fucking hearse ambulance.
He
Okay.
hands you back an empty flask.
So, in terms of gear, there is a thing where you can effectively get like smelling salts as a piece of gear that soaks one brain. Can I reflavor that to be that whiskey to kind of
Yes,
soak a brain,
absolutely.
soak a brain mark off Brenton as I kind of give him the moment just to kind of get his handle back. Cool. In which case, yeah, and I take it back, screw, it, and I just kind of sit forward. I don't say anything, and just give him the time.
Brendan is just with his remaining real hand. He's holding Bernadette's hand very tightly, and with his mechanical hand, he pulls out that same locket, thumbs it open, and he's just staring intently at the picture inside of it.
And Odette, you get swept up in all of this as well? You come in for the ride?
Yeah, I'm just sitting here, just like, okay, guess I am along for this ride as well.
Okay.
Okay. I think
And, you guys...
she'll ask Brenton
ahead, baby.
about the locket. I think she's just like, what you got there, Brenton?
Would Brenton share it? Or would he be defense? Actually, yeah. Let's say yes. He takes it off and just tosses it to you.
Oh, okay.
I'd like to ask.
You want me to say what it is?
I'd like you to say it so that no one will believe I made this up on the spot.
Okay. I'm gonna alright. This was not made up on the spot. I do have notes for this. Okay, so he passes you this beautiful locket, and it's been opened and closed many times, so it opens easily in your hands. And you open it, and there is a single picture on one of the halves of it, and it is of a younger Bernadette in a pristine school outfit and shorter hair and brighter eyes and this inquisitive, mischievous smile of a girl that knows more than she says. And that is the only photo that is in that locket.
It's a very cute picture. She'll gently hand it back to you.
She was so excited to take a picture. Made me go out and buy her a new dress and everything. Tried like 1,500 of them before she found that one.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good memory.
Right. Yeah.
Yep.
And in the silence, in the back of this hearse, with the threat and weight and smell of death back here, you guys make the bumpy, and it feels so long this time, but the ride back up to the Briar Greens, and you guys end up making your way back to the bookshop, and that is where we're going to take a break, non-power loss related.
Cool. We'll say 8:45 my end of things, or 13 minutes from now.
Perfect.
All right, back in a tick. I'll turn off the dungeon ambiance.
pull up to the bookstore, let everybody out of the hearse.
So the bookstore is
The
down a
weirdest
street
clown car.
that's so narrow that you're not able to kind of pull a horse-drawn cart down. So we kind of have to kind of get out, unfortunately, and then travel about 20 or 30 meters down the very narrow street to get there. So there will be kind of like a brief period where we're going to have to travel with the body, somewhat. Yeah. Well, although I mean, how I don't know how my street is not really the kind that gets visitors or traffic often or at all. But just we might have to kind of just be a bit. We might have to time it well.
There's probably the wheeled gurney thing to get people bodies in and out of the hearse, so we can probably just put her on that and then wheel her through the hall.
Brilliant.
And
I'm not dead yet.
The cobbles.
There's probably some dirty shovels.
Quite funny. Like if you're still not if you're not dead yet, then because the cobble street is so bad on here, the ride is going to be so like you're probably going to take another body mark from concussion just traveling on, or maybe
I'm not going to do that to her.
Oh, it looks like she's waking up. Ka-tunk. Oh, never mind.
But we'll finally get to the front of the door, and Walter will push open the door. It's at that point you realise that he hasn't locked the door. It was unlocked this whole time. And seemingly completely unfazed, he will go through and he will set about lighting the various oil lanterns that are filled inside the main space for the room. And again, just to kind of give a bit of a description for Viola, did you hear the description of the bookstore the first time round?
I was there, but I wasn't there. I was as a viewer. I was there.
Okay, great. So yeah, he'll go out and he'll kind of go up some of the step ladders to kind of light some of the oil lanterns, just to kind of get a bit more light into the room, and then we'll come back down and clear a mountain of books off one of the low tables that just scatter onto the floor, with other piles of books that at some point must have been thrown off in a similar fashion, and gives enough space for Bernadette to be placed on the table.
Yeah, we should have a library ambiance going on right now as well.
Ooh.
Can't hear anything yet.
Exactly as the library should be.
Yeah. It's very quiet and periodic, but yes, it's there.
All right, let me put it to fit. Yeah, they're not all tuned equally. Let's just see what 50% does for this one.
Is it just an old lady going shh constantly?
Oh, well, I heard scribbling. I definitely heard scribbling.
Yeah, the scribble happens.
Oh, hey.
That's Walter eating churros in the background. But yeah, so he'll kind of clear that space, and then he is going to, while everyone gets themselves situated, he's going to actually travel up the staircase that kind of runs along the far side of the wall to what appears to be another door that leads off into a room which you can't quite see, but he kind of goes up the stairs and out of sight, but he leaves you all unattended in the library for the time being.
Odette is fascinated. She's gonna start looking at all the books and touching all the books.
There's tons and tons, loads of different types there as well. Whispers from the Abyss, the Echoes of Eldritch Horrors, the Haunting of Olin Manor,
A Heat magazine from 2003.
Yeah. Like weird, like court documents and journals, and things seem to be grouped together in just seemingly no order at all. It's not by name, it's not by date, it's not even by fiction or non-fiction. They just seem to be grouped in odd ways. And although sometimes it's just like stacks of books kind of like packed together, sometimes it's books and then like wedged on top of it between kind of like the sections of the bookcase are like pages or almost like small like tokens or objects. It seems so specific, how they're put together, but also with no system at all. Specifically with no system, if that's even possible.
Okay. I'm gonna just look for, like, stuff about candles. Because these people keep coming back to candle shit, and Odette doesn't know a lot about candles, so I'm just gonna try and find things about candles.
You find the A to Z map of Candela Obscura, the edition that's identical to the one that Walter's been travelling around with. It's probably the first thing you find.
Okay, I'm just gonna take the books and be like, I'll bring these back later. I just need to read them tonight so that I know what candles do. And she's just gonna, like, start rummaging around. She's having a great time with these books.
Are you rummaging or are you rearranging?
No, I'm not rearranging. I would never.
I sheath the duckfoot pistol. I'm not that
The
funny.
urge
The
to
most
rearrange.
aggressive we have seen Walter, and he just fought a creature that was killing a girl in front of him.
Look, the last time I rearranged books, bad things happened. So I'm not. I've learned my lesson.
Thinking,
But there's
definitely
an
not
urge.
one of mine. Yeah. Where would Brenton take Bernadette? Is Eliza in?
She is not in yet. You do not know what the doctor's healing skills are. You do have a doctor on your team. Last you saw Eliza, she did look a little bit worse for wear. You guys have yet to be back to the bookshop, so who knows? You can put Bernadette on the table up here that Walter did clear off for you. You are also more than welcome to go downstairs to where you guys live. Because you are.
I feel bad because Walter's
bottommost
cleared up
floor.
the table.
Okay.
But
All those books on the floor.
No, I'll lay Bernadette on the table just so she can be more easily accessed in her bedroom. But you, Odette, she in the room?
She did just trail out. She was like
Okay.
following a bookshelf into a different room.
Doctor,
Mm-hmm.
watch her, please.
Of course.
And
I'll do everything I can to keep her comfortable.
I will go to the place where we live. I go to a separate trunk under my bed. Smaller one. I pop it open, and there's a series of small archives, librums, scraps of paper, and notes. All of it once belonging to her mother. And just basically every scrap of research note or like study that Hana ever had that I was able to recover. And if I can, I just want to try pour through to just Brendan's in thinking mode now. He's trying to think his way out of the situation, and this is that's the closest thing he thinks that could maybe get him some answers. So he'll try to do that.
All right. Okay, so in this search, are you looking for? In this search, are you looking for comfort? Are you looking for an answer? Are you looking for Hana doing something similar? Are you looking for what kind of a vibe are you going here for?
B and C.
Gotcha. Okay. So you pouring through all of these both as quickly as you can and still with as much attention to detail as possible. you end up finding this chunk of writing from when your girls were younger, and there is this one instance in which Hannah references that Bernadette did something similar, and one time, and even in Hannah's notes, it's not that she still is trying to like talk herself out of it. She says that there was an instance in which she was sure that Evelyn had climbed up to this very tall tree, and Hannah was sure that she was about to watch Evelyn like fall and lose her balance and fall out of the tree. And between one blink and the next, instead of Evelyn, it ended up being Bernadette, and she fell, but she still caught herself. And Evelyn ended up on like safe on the ground. That is really the only instance of this that you can see. I don't think flipping through the things that Hannah did, this is not in her wheelhouse. But you notice, having known your wife and being able to read all of these things, that essentially bleed like this, it is just an overload to everything about the body, and once it resettles all of that and the scar shows up, there's really, your wife only had one scar herself, so even she was not overly sure with what to do with this. In her period of time, it was like, yeah, you rest, and then you just sort of, you see what happens when you wake up, and then you just sort of readjust your life if it is something that is hugely impactful. Scars range from everything to an actual physical scar to literally, like, you've seen some people where bleed has taken like some really crazy things where bleed will take like mouths or like just crazy things from people, but it's a waiting game at this point.
I nod, slightly more reassured that it's gonna be okay, but at the same time wishing it could have been different. But I'll move Bernadette to her bedroom. I'll take a moment to ask Odette to if she'd stay with her.
Yeah, sure.
And I'll step out for a little while.
Okie doke. Anybody else in the bookshop have anything that they would like to run? Walter, Norman?
You go first if you got.
Norman says he needs to make a few phone calls, but he says to Walter, if necessary, there are straitjackets in the car. And then he's gonna go outside and and make a few phone calls, specifically looking to see if he can track down that.
Bumps into Breton. Wasn't out of earshot, you know.
There for you.
It's like, would you consider your hearing heightened currently?
Your legs restless in any way?
Yeah.
Just let me know.
I have pills for that. But I'm gonna be making a phone call, trying to see if I can track down if the PIP works for the person I saw in those documents, if they work at Gray Slate, and if I can track down any information about them through that while they're dealing with finding out what cool craziness happens with Bernadette.
Okie doke, cool.
Before, if I catch him on the way out, Brenton will take a moment to say to the doctor, if it weren't for you, at least one of us wouldn't have made it out of there. Thank you. Hey, Wow Pinkier is raiding with a party of 3. Thank you so much for the raid. Welcome, welcome.
Hey, hello.
Huzzah.
She's a pretty fun streamer. She seems like these Disney video games and like has done some Dead by Daylight and some other cool stuff. Definitely check her out.
Nice.
Super cool.
Yeah.
I'm just doing my job, but I've seen a lot of people go through what she's going through. She's probably fine. In my research, it does seem that the effects of this can be tailored to someone's personality. You know her better than the rest of us, so if she's going to be... she'll be changed, but if she's a good person, the change probably will be okay. If she's got underpinning mental issues, then you may want one of the straitjackets. That's all I was trying to say. But it should be fine. You all seem like good people.
Thank you. And I'll step out.
Okie doke.
I'm reading Bernadette a book about candles. How candles are made.
You're gonna be the first
You
person
melt the
in
wax
existence
at
to
exactly 100 degrees centigrade, and then...
gonna be the first person in existence to bore someone awake.
She comes out of a coma specifically to be like, I've had enough. Please.
She's but very good at making candles.
The weirdest brain injury ever. Some people come back with Welsh accents. You're just an accomplished candle maker.
Candle
Alrighty.
savant.
So, while you are explaining the difference between beeswax and soy wax to Bernadette downstairs, we have got Dr. Norman out on the street making some calls. We've got Brenton walking away, and we have Walter up in some of the upper floors of the shop doing whatever he's got going on. If nobody's got anything, we will follow Brenton.
I will in a bit, but we can follow Brenton first.
Okay, doke. All right. So Brenton, what do you got going on? Yeah, just that. I figured. There is none. Okay. So. Okay, so I've got... Alright, so we've got Brenton just trying to cool off.
I'm going for something specific.
Okie doke. Alright, what you got?
I would like to find a bakery.
Oh, okay.
There'd probably be several. I imagine Brenton would know of. Hana would probably put him onto it, but bakeries that specialize in Germanic desserts, or like ones that have that in their repertoire.
Oh yeah, you can definitely find that with relative ease.
Okay, I would like to, if I can, if it's available, pick up a large. Apologies in advance, Tamara. Malwurfkuchen, which is a mole cake, which is made with banana and chocolate.
Ooh, yummy.
Does it have anything else in it, Tamara?
So it's like a really light, fluffy chocolate biscuit base, then some half bananas, some whipped cream with chocolate chips in like kind of stracciatella cream, like building half dome and then more chocolate crumbles on top. So it kind of looks like a little hill that a mole makes, which is super popular for German like children's birthdays.
And it was always Bernie's favorite, so he'll get the biggest one he can.
That can definitely be done, and you can absolutely pick that up. It'll take a while.
That's fine.
You can go back with one, for sure.
Cool.
Is that all that you'd like to do, Brenton?
I'm happy to be like off camera doing that if people have stuff to do in the meantime, but I'll return whenever I return and just... I'll maybe set up a clear coffee table or something and set it down with a couple plates and forks.
The table will still be available if Bernadette went downstairs. That table,
yeah, actually, no, that's a good point.
The books would never have been put back on it, so that table's still clear.
Okay.
I'll set the box it's in, just your standard pastry carrying box down. Set a couple plates out, just some forks, just waiting. He'll get some tea bags ready, and if she's still asleep by the time he's done as much doting stuff as he can, he'll just sit with her. He'll tell Odette, you can go about your business if you like.
Oh, okay. I'll just go back to looking at the books.
To be clear, he's
I
not...
hope you liked my story about candles. And she'll just kind of lightly pet Bernadette on the shoulder. I think we learned a lot.
You absolutely did learn a lot.
Learned so much, you guys. And I'm putting the book back as I read it, and I'll put it back in its spot, and I'm going to keep just fluttering around like a little chaos gremlin.
Okay, wonderful. Alrighty. What kind? And I'm gonna assume that you float back up to the greater bookshop. And we've got Walter. I am figuring out what Norman figures out, so we'll get to him eventually.
Okay.
What do you got going on?
So, the first thing that happened when Walter went up is that he went for a 20-minute nap because he's an old man and it's been a long day and his legs were aching. So he went for a nap initially, but then when he wakes up, he has refilled the whiskey in his cane.
Nice.
Because that's important there as well, while then topping it off himself to keep him going. And then before he goes back down the stairs into the greater bookshop, he's just going to put that package on his bedside table, and he's going to open it and see what's in it.
Oh yeah. Okay. All right. So you. Did you say on your bedside table, right?
Bedside table, yeah.
Okay, cool. I was like, that's a lot of sand to put in your make-believe bed. So you open this up,
Gristly.
and yeah, exactly, just terrible. Okay, so you open this up, and you untie it, and the canvas is stiff and dirtier than you expected it to be on the inside. You pull this piece of fabric open, and it looks to be like the center back panel of a gentleman's coat. So like the long rectangle canvas panel that would have been the back of a man's coat. And okay. You can see when you pull it open, the side that had been wrapped in towards the box, there is old blood stains in it, and Do you open the box?
Yeah.
Okay. So you the dirt and age and the length of time with which it has been in the ground, you have to use use your cane and just get a little bit of extra leverage to pop the clasp on
I'd
it.
probably use my alarm clock because it's just got a slightly
There you
thinner edge,
go.
and I'm kind of just using just my alarm clock to kind of pry it open.
Just the faint dinging as you shake this alarm clock and try and jam this latch open. It finally catches and you are able to pull it up, and it opens on reluctant hinges, and inside you see there is another dirty, bloodied bundle of fabric, and there's no smell except for it's like dusty decay, but there's none of that thick rot smell that would come from a body having decayed in here. Do you pull out the fabric and stuff that's in the box?
I'll probably reach to my bedside cabinet and I'll grab. I kind of fish around my room for a bit, and then I end up grabbing a coat hanger in one hand and then a broken pen in the other, and I use those to kind of sort of chopstick pry them open, so I'm not directly touching on them myself.
Okay. So you sort of do this very weird surgery of your own up here. And flicking and pulling at the fabric, you sort of untangle the top of this bundle, and the fabric falls away, and it is a pile of dusty and dirty bones.
Can I tell if they're humanoid?
Yes, you can. They are in fact humanoid. They are cleaned. As in there is no flesh on them. They're in with dust and dirt, which has since colored them. But it looks to be, you poking around, it looks to be a full skeleton, and I don't know what else. What other information are you looking for? It's definitely humanoid.
Well, fuck. Okay. Really brings out the decor for the place. I'm gonna just cover them up quietly. Sorry about that. And I'll make a note to get Felix to have a look at them, thinking that he might be best placed to know a bit more about whatever these things are.
Yep.
And he'll just leave them on his bed, and we'll come back downstairs into the main part of the room. At that point, we'll probably notice that Brent's kind of setting up an impromptu birthday party, but won't interfere and just kind of let it go on, and we'll just kind of quietly shuffle without making as little noise as possible until it gets to the point where he's moving the bookshelves, the things on the rails, and he just has to kind of quietly and just begins the process of quietly researching the creature which we've been finding out about so far. So not specifically the one that attacked us, that was light sensitive, not specifically the revenants that we came across down there as well, but the information we have about the actual monster or thing that was in the greenhouse. And I'm going to start trying to pull together some information to identify specifically what that thing is, or what it could be, so we can potentially have some additional avenues to go to after this.
Okay. Okie doke. Okay. So back to Norman. So what you end up finding out. You end up finding out, calling into Gracelate, that there is a young woman that works in the research wing, and her name is Philippa Evans Hewley. You get some information that is essentially that this woman, she ended up in research because her family had strange connections, and the mother had the mother had knowledge and or experiments that the daughter was brought in to continue, or at least continue researching. So that's the word on your end. But as far as officially is, she works in, as far as officially, she's a young woman, newly married, and she works in research in Gracelate with you, with your people. Is that everything that you had asked?
So she was basically a legacy hire, like her mother worked there before her, and she was expected to continue, and that's how she would have access to the paperwork.
Mm-hmm.
Is she currently employed, or is she?
Yes, currently employed.
Okay. All right. Would I know where her offices are in the building? Like if I wanted to go pay her a visit, do I have that information?
Yes, you can easily access that information. Essentially, one of your receptionists would just set you up with that if you wanted.
Perfect.
Cool.
Yeah. Then after I get done with that, I'll come back in and share that information with the group, and put the paperwork down. Somehow, Gracelate seems to be associated with whatever they're doing with these crystal balls and other occult artifacts. Due to the research that's being done there, this young doctor, was there anything on the nature of her research? Was she conducting, if she's extending her mother's research, was there anything as far as like what exactly that was?
Yes. If you went and... Who ended up with the paperwork from the greenhouse? Was that the Bernadette and Brenton?
I believe
yeah.
so.
Okay. But so it would have ended up and been like that. There were papers and things in the greenhouse and diagrams and stuff in the greenhouse that then would have been expanded upon in the papers from the shack that you guys were just in. So you can, if you guys have collected all of those papers, then you could definitely extrapolate where the mother's research would then be taken further in this, in with what the girls were doing. So you can see, I think I saw somebody write down the mother's flowers and the mother's main interest, and she did a lot of work with asphodel, and the looking at the daughter's paperwork, that is also one of the elements that she is using, and sort of like launching off from this botanical angle that her mother had gone from. You can see following this sort of like asphodel research that this then leads into bleed, and there is in the papers that you guys looked at in the shack. Some of the papers go off into like weird esoteric history. In that, like in the history of New Fair, there was this like empress that ruled over this place that she was supposedly, it was rumored that she was immortal, and underneath where New Fair is now, that if you were to just keep going underneath New Fair, get into Old Fair, and keep going underneath the town, you would hit the gardens of this empress. And it's supposedly said that in these gardens of hers, that's where the original crop of these asphodel flowers that were supposed to be the source of her power. And you can sort of, with this, you can follow the paperwork and to see what these girls, at least what Pippa was looking at.
So the asphodel flowers are supposed to grant immortality, and that's what they were researching on? Did I hear that right? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So relay that as well, and then that might explain why they took the specific organs they took. They may have tried to see if she had been ingesting the asphodel flowers. But I'm not sure if the daughter then is responsible for killing her mother and taking her organs, or if there's a rival. But I do have an ability, if we need to contact and speak with Philippa, if you guys feel that's prudent.
Is there any medical evidence to suggest this plant does have beneficial properties then? Maybe not quite to the extent they suppose, but
concerning they wanted the daughter to continue the investigation, I assume there must have been some credence to it, but I'm not aware of, unless you can correct me on that. I don't believe I'm aware of any of that information, but we could find out by talking to her, I'm sure.
No, you are not aware of that information. You are remembering correctly. What would catch probably in your mind, Norman, and Walter, yours as well, is that there was residue of bleed inside there was remnants of that inside the mother, like where the organs would have connected and stuff like that. There was still remnants of bleed in her. The major spots were removed. So if you wanted to make a leap, you could be like, there might be bleed implications here, but nobody is absolutely positive at the moment. Okay.
Even then, we're not certain exactly if that bleed was just, if there was any beneficial effects to what happened, just simply that some magic got in, and we don't know what the effect of the magic is. Maybe they think this is a better... Yeah, okay, alright, okay.
But if if the research is going for immortality, killing the mother probably disproved the theory. So, I don't think they've quite figured it out yet.
Well, there is immortality, and then there's invulnerability.
That's
If it's
fair.
a case of just persistent life, then I certainly would not prefer one without the other.
Are there any records on how old the mother was?
No, but you did see her body, and she was probably like late 40s.
Well, that's why I want to know. Did the appearance of her body match the age that she would be? Like if she's like 90 years old but she looks 40, then there's probably some truth to this. Like in her medical records or anything like that, since she worked for the company.
That's true. Medical records, you would see that. Medical records, you would see that you would expect her to be within. All right, so you looked at her, and even with all of the mutilation, you're like, okay. All right, you're looking at upper 40s. You get her paperwork, and instead, she's probably like within 10 years of whatever age that you said it was, instead of like 5. So it is just, but at the same time, like that's enough of an outlier. That's like she could have just taken care of herself, but also too, she was dead and mutilated on the ground next to her decapitated husband. So she's not looking her best. You know, sans, kidney, and abdominals. Yeah.
Okay. So, inconclusive.
Exactly, babe. All right. So. Yeah.
Do I have any success with my research on the creature in particular that we are chasing?
Okay. Yes, you do. You you end up pulling a book out that is that you hold on, I've got it written over here. What is this creature? Okay. You see, you find this thing called, an ink stalker, and you see that this thing is known for living in wallpaper and paintings and drawings. This creature, it blends itself into patterns in order to spring itself on its chosen target, and it will feed on their creativity. It manifests as a voice of dissatisfaction. It convinces the artist of their creation's inadequacies. Feeding on the expended energy is required to produce more and more. As the victim's obsession heightens, they will forget to feed and care for themselves. A sign that the Inkstalker has to move on. These creatures are said to use the Red Lamp District, but they find meals wherever creative minds frequent. You also read about this thing called a Daxani. It's a gray humanoid creature, and they try to blend back into normal society while they feed on the shadows of the living. Let's see. And then there's another one that catches your... There's another one that catches your interest, but it doesn't exactly fit into it. There's this thing called a bullhelm, but that's when a group of archaeologists went into some old Farron tomb down in the depths of this place. But that was like it took on like a bull animal shape, and it was more gold and less black. And those are the things that sort of catch your eye. in your research at the moment.
Okay, but nothing in particular that kind of grabs on sort of like the, like that would have like the strength to rip open that window or climbing. Do any of those descriptors feel like they match kind of the thing that we've been like the closest, like the Inkstalker had, like I'm wondering if has elements closer to the last thing we just faced, but I'm not certain. But do any of them? Do I feel like any of them kind of match close to the actual creature that we're chasing?
I think the thing that is going to ring the closest, I think, is going to be the Inkstalker. That is going to be the thing that leads the closest.
Okay.
With the way that like the shadow was spoken of in the papers, especially because Norman would have like gone through those and then shared some more important bits with you. I think that with those papers in conjunction with this research, I think that there is an element that it absolutely could be something along the lines of an Inkstalker. It just sounds like it answers to somebody else's will. Most of these creatures seem to be that you're reading of right now. They seem to, when they're being spoken of, they seem to be that like they are acting of their own volition. Nothing that you have read about at the moment is giving the implication that it is being controlled by somebody else. In your books anyway, but whereas with the work that Norman was talking about while you guys were fighting that goop creature, that felt more like it had something pulling somebody, like it had something pulling its strings, or that like it would have answered to somebody or was connected to something. And I think the addition of an outside will into one of these creatures might make it ring a bit more true.
So, and final question.
Of course.
Do I feel like the creature that we fought also falls under the category of an Inkstalker in the same way that the thing that we have been hunting does? And therefore, is it possible that we have now dispatched the thing that was... We have actually already done the thing we need to do and dispatched the creature that was responsible for these, even if we don't know the greater, like, you know, what directed it, that specific tool has been taken care of already.
Okay. I
If that
think
makes
with
sense.
it absolutely does. I'm just trying to see how to answer it and not give you too much or too little. So, I think that with everything that you know of at the moment and everything that you have seen or interacted with, the way that that creature handled Brenton, the way that that creature handled all of you, that creature is, it definitely seems like it absolutely seems like it could have been the creature. I think sitting and looking at all of this and trying to break it apart, you absolutely feel like there are pieces that you are missing that are important to your greater understanding of this. But I think with what you know at the moment, you absolutely believe that that could have been the creature at the greenhouse.
Okay. In that case, eventually, with the research kind of coming to a conclusion, there is now a small stack of books that have been collected from various places in the library. scraps of parchment have been folded in place for some of the pages to kind of like hold as bookmarks, to kind of put them in place. And he now has them kind of set ready to discuss with everyone, but will elect to wait for Bernadette to recover before proceeding.
Okay. And the night kind of wears on. Okay. So the night wears on, and you guys continue your research and just sort of like waiting for Bernadette to wake up, and you guys can sort of, I'll give the rest of you time to lose your marks and heal up and essentially patch yourself up for the next round of assignments. And Bernadette, when you wake up, you can be cleared, set back to 0. But alrighty.
So by that, do you mean did we get all of our drive back and clear our marks?
Yes. In
Like
this
a long rest?
downtime, you guys can clear your marks. You guys can get your drive and is it nerve? You get one of them back at the end of the thing.
Shit, I totally forgot what the regular
Nerve is
amount
a
of
type
these
of-
things I'm supposed to have is. Oh, no, wait, no, it's predetermined.
It should just be the...
It's just
yeah.
like the amount of dots I have in the thing. It's not... Okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
Good, don't worry.
Yeah. Nerve is a type of drive.
Yeah.
So, cool.
Do we progress our circle?
Let me. I have my notes. We do actually. We progress the circle. So you guys can, Bernadette, yourself included, my dear, for when you wake up. You can, you level up, and you guys can take. You guys get a new dot to put in, like one of your action things, like sway, read, survey. You guys can put another dot in, and also you guys get another, like a special ability that your subclass does. So I think there's one that's like journalism. That's like you can get into special places. You guys get a second one of those. You should have like 1 or 2. You guys can go up to 3 with those.
Does our circle mean that we can?
You can pick from any tree, I think, yeah.
I think I remember that we
Yes.
did that. Do we have to do anything with the illumination keys, or do we just keep hold of those for now?
You guys keep all of those for right now. Those I've got. I've been keeping track of those for you guys for the moment. So you guys are all set with that. We're going to. We will advance the circle, and if you guys want to take this moment, think of a name. If you guys would like, we can come back in a couple weeks and name your circle and stuff like that.
They follow a nomenclature like tide and bone or needle and thread, right? That's sort of how they work, right?
Correct. Sort of those kinds of vibes.
Does the Sorry, I'm just going to ask all the questions in the world.
Of course, go right ahead.
I'm trying to work out how we do it on Roll20 as well, but this extra dot, can it bring things above 2, or is there like a limit on?
Yeah, take it up above 2. You're good to go.
Okay.
Can we use it to guild things, or is that not possible?
Let me double check. I believe.
I think when you level up, what I've written down is that you guild an action, you get a new ability from your role or specialty, you get 2 drive points, 1 action point, and a new circle ability. But don't quote me on that. That's just what I got written down.
I'll quote you in a minute.
Really wish.
What page is that on? Do you just have it written down, Jordan?
I just had it written down. That's why I said don't quote me, because I'm trying to find it in the book. Oh, it looks like page 54 is where the advancing starts.
Thank you.
Here we go. How to play.
Clear the illumination track. Any leftover illumination counts towards your next advancement cycle. Choose a new circle ability. Each player can choose 2 different options for their character. Add 1 action point, add 2 drive points. Take a new ability. This can be from either the player's role or specialty, but because of our circle, we can pick from any role or specialty. And then guild an additional action. So it sounds like you get to choose 2 of those.
I'm still not sure about the illumination keys or illumination questions. I don't know what we need to do with those bits. But
So
Yeah.
if you, Walter, if you go down to the bottom of your sheet, it's going to say your illumination keys. On my tester one, it says study an artifact, discuss history, run into danger.
yes, I've got 3. I've got probe a witness, track a target, and reveal a clue.
Absolutely. You hit all of those.
Amazing. Good.
I think I've got 2 of mine, if I recall that correctly.
Are you...
So
Consult arcane text, collect oddities, and act bizarre. We love that.
I think I pulled out an arcane text at some point, and also, acting bizarre.
Yep, you definitely succeeded for absolutely sure. Virla, you definitely got yours as well, my dear. And Norman as well.
So we clear those now?
That's essentially your XP. That's going to mean that you leveled up. So that is just me saying, yes, you are all correct. You guys did all, in fact, level up.
Yeah, because I used violence of action, definitely protected someone and acted tactically.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So I can guild 1, take another point in something else.
Yeah, I'll post the list. You choose 2 of these options. Guild action, new ability, 1 action point, or 2 drive points.
Okay.
Capture.
And I can choose an ability from any of you guys' lists as well, right?
I believe because of our circle, that's true. I haven't found the circle thing that we picked.
Alrighty. Jordan dropped the short thing in the Discord. I dropped the long version underneath that with the example.
Oh, nice.
Oh, okay. So it's 2 of the options. So we can get a new ability if we choose that as one of the 2 things that we do. Okay.
Yeah.
Right, I'm with you.
Now I gotta figure out which page the abilities were on. That I don't remember. Gear, drive, resistance.
30. It's 25, I want to say. Yeah, there you go. 27 is abilities.
Exciting. Hard to read with sunglasses on. It's so much brighter in here now.
I think I'm going to take, because this is appropriate, compartmentalization. You have trained to detach yourself from the horrors of violence. Once per assignment, you can burn 1 nerve resistance to soak a brain mark.
There you go.
I think that is a good idea.
And
Definitely
I'm also,
needed after this.
for flavor as well, so this whole time that he's had his arm, Brenton, this new arm, he's had to adjust. He was always a brawler, but he's lent on brawling more because he wasn't fitting quite right. It wasn't haptic. Like, precision was hard with it. So handling a firearm, like, was not as good as he used to be. And he's been tinkering it with this whole time. That's what you see him doing when he's, like, tweaking. He's, like, trying to calibrate it right. Mm-hmm. And between everything that's happened, whether it was the bulging from the adrenaline with the syringe, or getting knocked about in the fight, or finally just did something. Is like finally clicks and like he just like all his old dexterity is back, and I will take another dot in control, and Brenton like bringing it back to 2, and like flavorly Brenton's like better, and there is venom. He's like good.
Okay. Sounds good.
Hey, resuscitation. When a nearby ally takes a scar, you can make a focus roll and attempt to immediately revive them. That'd have been handy.
Hey, look at you. Help out. All right, Bernie, what are we thinking for the scar? What have we got going? What have we got going on with you? You're deep in restful slumber at the moment.
Yeah.
But
So mechanics-wise, I need to shift 1 point from one thing to another.
correct.
And I took 1 point away from read and put
Okay.
it in sense.
Okay. I love it.
And yeah, I think for how the scar manifests, like physically, I think she looks a little bit paler, less like reddish, just like a grayer tint to her skin, and her eyes, which were like this light gray before, are now pitch black.
Okay. We live for that. Okay.
Also for the level up, by the way, I put a gilded thing for sense as well.
Ooh, nice.
And chose another one of the occultist abilities, which is extend your senses. So I'm just really leaning into the spooky supernatural thing now.
Act bizarre, baby. Act bizarre. We live for it.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, and Bernadette, when you go down and you end up taking the spot of your father in that shack, it is like there is this seamless moment where you make the decision and you begin that incantation, and the last thing that you hear is your father's voice screaming your name, and you then sort of have like this seamless transition into this sort of dream state where your father's voice screaming your name, it turns into your mother's voice, and it is this, it's a bit more stern and less worried, and you are in this memory of being younger, and you're sort of watching your mother and your sister practice. They're sort of like seated together at the table, and you are watching them from the doorway, and just, you're close enough that you could be involved, but you're always apart, and you just are always that far away, and you want to be in that spot where your sister is. And you're positive. You're like, that's where I'm supposed to be. And in this dream, you go to take a step or reach out, and in that same moment, like with your father, where you swap spots with him, you swap places with your sister in this dream. And in the dream, you watch your mother stare at you. Her eyes are just pulled to you like magnets when you do this thing in the dream. And you sit at the table and look down at your hands on the table, and you're like, I did it. And you look up and look into the eyes of your mother, and they are hard and cold as stone and metal and glass. And she looks at you. You're not supposed to be here. And you wake up, and your eyes are pitch black.
Oh boy.
Is anyone in the room with me when I wake up?
Wouldn't have left your side.
Okay, there you go. That's your answer.
So Bernie just comes to her senses, sits up, looks around frantically, and sees Brenton sitting on the side of her bed, and she just immediately hugs him, like very desperate, shaking, and she just starts crying, doesn't say anything, and just lets herself be held for a moment.
Brenton will keep it together for her, but his eyes are just flowing. It's all right. It's all right, you're safe. We made it.
You're okay?
I'm fine. You? I pull her shoulder width apart. What were you thinking, baby girl?
I wasn't thinking. It wasn't hurting you.
Listen to me. I will take any amount of hurt if it means you don't.
You can't keep doing this, you know?
He doesn't know how to respond to that. Honey, this life, this is what happens. And I'm always gonna charge in if it means keeping it away from you. He clutches the locket.
You know, earlier when you were climbing and getting yourself hurt, I got so angry. Like, why do you keep doing this? You don't have to show off.
You think that's it? You think I'm showing off?
You weren't like this when I was younger, you know. Don't you think I haven't noticed how you changed?
Baby girl. I don't do these things because I find them fun or thrilling. I do them because I'm worried that if I ever stop for a fucking second, I'd have to grapple with everything that's happened to us, and I don't know how I'd do that. I'll move forward. That's what I've always done. Focus on the now. Focus forward. Because if I have to look back... Pulls the locket off and just places it in your hands. Open it.
Oh, I don't want to look at Mom
Open
right
it.
now. No!
Open it!
And you remember taking that picture. And you're little. In that dress that your dad bought you. And he stood there while you tried on 1,500 of them. And you were so happy. And you... Honestly, you almost forgot this picture existed. You didn't think anybody paid that much attention to the things that you enjoyed and loved and felt nice in. But here it is. And it's not a picture of your mom or your sister. It's just you. It's just you.
Kept it.
Never left my side. You're the best thing I ever did, kiddo. Now I can promise you to rein it in a little. But you'll be cold in the ground before I let anything happen to you.
Bernie leans in again to hug Brenton. And she just kind of whispers into his shoulder. You're all I have left. Please don't get yourself killed.
I love you.
I love you too.
And Brenton will just stay there and he'll wait for Bernadette to break the hug. And... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
She just stays there solid 10 minutes.
Brenton does not move. But when she eventually does... You hungry?
Starving.
Come on. Got a surprise for you.
How long have I been out?
2 years.
Ha ha.
Come on. We've earned a bit of levity, baby girl.
Okay.
No, more like... How long has it been? What, like 6 hours?
Yeah, it's only been a few hours, a handful, 5, 6.
And I will take her downstairs to where the cake is waiting. And Brenton has the grams of that cake's weight counted. So if he's a gram light, he will start, like, punching crotches.
When you put it like that, I'm sure everybody left the cake alone.
Oh, yeah, you would have said.
Turns out I'm diabetic.
Even Norman.
But otherwise, like, he was waiting for Bernadette. But Bernadette, you see, he's got the cake prepared. And he'll put tea on. But it's waiting for you, and the others join. He'll dole out slices as well. Not expecting... Unless Bernadette wants to eat it her by herself. Like, say the word, The whole cake's yours.
No, I don't want to be alone.
Then he'll dole out slices for everyone. Make tea for everyone.
While the cake's being set up, Walter will ask, "Where was it you said you grew up?"
Talking to Breton.
To Bernadette.
Oh.
You mean Odette?
No, Bernadette.
Oh, okay.
Hello,
I was like, the names are all the same.
So much debt in this party.
Debt. Hey, Debt.
All the debts.
Okay, I'm going to while we've been kind of waiting, because eventually they got to a point where I did all the research I needed to, and I would have gone through and I would have started seeing if I could find sort of like picture books, but kind of the ones that kind of like show like artworks or drawings and stuff of like sort of like the nearby towns and everything, and he's going to kind of just like prop them on their side as kind of like almost like a little thing, and he's going to almost create like a little like book version of the scenes of that town, and just kind of just like lines them up. And he does that for probably a couple of a good solid 2-3 minutes to kind of move them up. He kind of does that for a bit, and then
Hello Harbor is part of the city. Sorry to interrupt. But Hello Harbor is part of the city, right? So Walter, I assume, would have visited it a couple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, they'll bring some of the lights down, so it just kind of has a bit more of a somewhat homely feel. Right. Now we're all settled in, and he'll sit down on one of the armchairs that he's kind of like dragged across the floor. Things that I've found that might be worth us discussing with everyone around. I think the two of you managed to deal with the actual thing that was responsible for the murdering up in the greenhouse. That creature, I think, everything I can read here, the descriptions matched close enough. The strength obviously was there. So I think, good job, I guess, all considering.
I got wicked fucking jaw clench after that cocktail.
Interesting.
It's weird. The way I'd always envisioned these creatures wasn't quite like you always have that. If you're a debt, you write. You're a creative, right? You're finding real stories, but you weave a tale when you put them into paper, right?
Yeah, put them in words. Yes.
And with every creative, there's always that voice that's in the back of your hot mind wondering, is this enough? Am I enough? Is this tale, is this artwork doing justice to what I'm trying to create? I don't think I have a creative bone in my body, but I know there are some that definitely have that spark and kind of describe this kind of unseen voice in their head. What we fought is a bleed manifestation of that, and not in a good way. It's weird because I can't see what this medium was, what this medium would have had in terms of like what. I don't see where normally these creatures, are driven to those that are artists and writers and so forth, and they kind of like latch on that way, and they kind of feed in a kind of weird way on your, I guess, psyche. Guess probably a few of them end up in the with you Norman. But this felt directed. So I don't know if, well, we've dealt with this issue now, if we've actually dealt with it properly, or if, you know, this was just a tool that was used for, well, whatever. It's not really an answer or to it is just posing a question. But
Right.
At least it's done for now. Oh, there's a skeleton in my room. That was what was
Oh.
behind the that ink spectre thing. Ink spawn, inky. I've heard phrases. I forget the name of it, but like an ink stink. I'm gonna go with ink stink. But behind it was a container, and it had a body in it. I've kept it upstairs. Felix might want to have a look at it. Maybe that might lead on to some more ideas.
Right. Right. I'm really liking the spiel you're going on, Grandpa. But
Breton has like a just like snort.
yeah. See, funny thing about it is his name was actually Thomas. And I'm gonna say he wasn't really nice. But he was a very good pet. Well, for Sophia, of course. But he had to be dealt with. It happens. Anyway, so FYI, the girls, they did have a really good purpose. They're batteries. Duh. I mean, Walter, Grandpa, you almost got it right. And I'm so proud of you. I'm so very proud of you, Walter.
And from the lower floors, smoke, the scent of smoke starts to drift up into the bookshop.
Do I have time to do something?
Did you have some of the tea already?
Whose voice
I
was
would
that?
have. Yes. Yes, I would have.
So no, we don't.
Did she switch the tea bags? Because I made the tea.
Darling, I've been prepping for a while. See, while I was rummaging through the bookstore, I was just, you know, putting a leak here and putting some stuff here. It was, after I had a blast. Your shop is amazing, Walter. I'm so sad that it's gonna burn down now. But, and Odette's gonna stand up for a second. I just need to practice something. You guys give me feedback. And she's gonna, like, take a breath. There was a fire, officer! There was a fire and everyone died! My friends, they were inside and they died! Oh, officer! How do you feel like that went? I think it was, you know, convincing, shaking. I feel like I need some more tears. I think the tears will really, you know, give it that edge. It's been so much fun hanging with you guys. I'm gonna have to take my leave. I would recommend holding your breath for a little while. The smoke, it's not very good for your lungs. Bernadette, you were a blast to hang out with. Father thingy, you were very annoying, but I liked you a lot. Doctor, I didn't get to meet you. I kind of thought I could get you on my side. And Grandpa, it's been fun. And I'm gonna walk out the building.
Do I, is my mouth paralyzed as well?
Yeah,
No.
what's actually happened to us? Like, what's the...
All right, so what has happened is there is no full immediate reaction that you can take. You cannot stand up or attempt to attack her. You can stand up or you can stay where you are and say anything that you would like.
I'll be like, oi, bitch.
Darling.
Look me in the eye. When the time comes, I'm gonna feed you your own heart.
I'd mind
a
your language,
promise.
darling. I'd mind your language, darling. Your daughter's in the room. I would hate for her to get a bullet in her brain. She just woke up. That would be terrible, and I wouldn't do it.
Breton does not say anything else. He does not need to say anything else. He said, you do not get the sense that he was going to continue speaking. He's made a promise. That's all he's going to say.
As Odette turns to leave, she'll look Bernadette in her eyes. And I think in that moment, Bernadette, you really see Odette. And what you see is not the Odette you've known. You can see, like, from her eyes and her mouth and her nose and her ears, you see blood, dried blood that is dripped down, that covers most of her clothes as well. And you can even, as she moves, almost see these tiny pearlescent strings that are attached to her. From your sight, that's what you get from Odette. And as you blink, she's back to herself.
Have we seen that
Quick
woman
question.
before?
Yes, I was about to ask. Do you look familiar? Or do I get a familiar vibe?
All
I
the
was-
muscles
I knew it!
in
Oh.
Breton's neck strain.
I walk out the
Bernadette
building.
just, like, lets out a feral scream. Doesn't say
Walter
anything,
is,
just screams.
So you said, so Walter gets up and he's kind of using this cane to kind of keep himself going, and he wants to try and see where the signs of this fire are, and find the sands, the buckets of sand.
It takes you a little bit, but I will absolutely let you go and get there, especially because you do have stuff set up for should this happen. So you are definitely able to contain it to a couple of rooms. You follow this. Essentially, it's this trail of smoke. There are a few little piles that have been set up in rooms that were just going to like pull you further from that center space, and then it stops in the kitchen that you guys have that is one floor down, and you do end up having to like turn off all of the burners in your stove and stuff like that. So she absolutely had full reign of this place. But you are able to put all of the fires out with minimal damage, and you are able to come back to that room, that front room that everybody was in, and sort of regroup and stew. And that, I think, is going to be where we call it today.
Legitimately
Nice.
hope you weren't attached to Odette's face, Vietla. Because Brenton made a promise.
Kill you. I'm going to fly to the
You can
Netherlands and kill
can
you.
AFK, IRL, I'm coming to your town.
I know where you live, bitch.
To be honest, I feel like I'm to blame for this. I'm the one who armed Hannah with all of that.
Me and Virla together, it's just, she thinks she's a chaos gremlin by herself. I, too, am a chaos gremlin. It's very bad when we're together.
Is this payback, Virla, for every heart attack I've given you in Theros?
Oh no, this was for Morse.
Loved it.
I feel the most bad about doing this to Morris. And you're like, no, this was about, okay. All right.
Yeah, that's fine. It's all good. You went after the books. That was the powerful move.
Yeah, that's how to really hurt everyone.
Yeah.
Yep.
Seriously, if Breton ever gets his hands on her, the how do you want to do this is going to be graphic.
She didn't know anything about Candela.
Nothing.
Candles?
Not at all.
Yeah.
She doesn't,
No, definitely
she's an
not.
expert candle maker, obviously.
Okay, but question: is Kevin real?
Yes.
We hate Kevin. Guys, that was crazy. Thank you guys so much. That was awesome.
My heart's pumping.
That was a lot. I had a
Actual
great
roller
time.
coaster.
Alrighty, and we will be back not next week, but the week after, to see what the fuck is going on here. Yeah. Until then, where should we start? Morris will begin with you, and we'll go down everybody's dejected and horrified faces.
I'm just trying to work out what where Walter's mind, like what kind of methods of revenge Walter would come up with in the many years he's been around and the many horrors he's seen. How many could he bring himself to?
Get in
reenact?
fucking line, mate. You have no idea who this person is.
She just went after my books. That's it. That's clearly.
Oh,
the
you
worst.
have no
After you
idea.
pulled the duckfoot pistol on her, you were like, you're
sweet
going to
summer
rearrange
child, you
them?
have no idea.
Yeah, that's it. No, whatever trauma you've been through, it can't possibly be as bad as you destroying my books. So I'm feeling it there. As always, I don't understand what social media is because I'm just an old man. But what I do understand is that these games wouldn't be what they are if it wasn't for all those third-party content creators that make the games as awesome as they are. So thank you to everyone that makes stuff and deals with the ink stalker feeding off the back of your brain, and despite that manages to make these awesome things. You are what makes these games amazing. And if you are someone that has a few spare insert currency here to help support those creatives, please do so because it makes the world a better place.
Hey. All right, next old man, Jordan, and then Romeo.
Wow.
Are we going in age order?
Wow.
No, you guys are all just at the top for me.
Okay, fair.
Actually,
fair.
age before beauty. There you go. That works too.
Rude. I don't do anything, so I don't have anything to talk about. But thanks.
Fair.
That was real good. Whew.
Yep. And I'm not the betrayer this time, so
This time,
is that
did you just
already-
out yourself?
all your skeptical faces.
I still don't trust those sunglasses.
I'm just
not
saying.
gonna lie.
I'm just saying. You were
Those
gone,
aren't
and then you
actually
acted
sunglasses,
man.
like
they're just
everything was
inky black
fine.
Masses that,
Yeah, and then people let it drop. And that was really
Yeah, I was about
handy.
to say, Brenton's vibe check was, I think, like, not unfair.
No, not at all.
Hey, that's exactly what should have happened. A creepy doctor man in a fishing shack.
Yeah,
It was
The
really
last thing
handy
you
that
gave me.
it was
Yeah, like,
really handy that Bernadette
that's
went
like-
down, so I could be like, "Oh, I'm helping now."
Look at me, I'm worth having.
Yeah, that
More
was
helpful than shady.
that was a DC 5 persuasion check. That was not unreasonable.
Fair enough.
Like, just don't completely fuck up this guy's Nebia. My turn, I believe. You can find all my cosplay content at Electrum_cosplay. You can find all the shows socials at DC30Official. I'm definitely going to be trying to make some clips out of the CO. I'm going to try to post them to the clock and stuff like that. Trying to pick and choose clips from this session especially. Might need some help from other people. But yes, DC30Official. And if you like this content and you want to see more of it and other things like it, you can join our Discord, which and the command should be working. Oh, no, sorry. It's plus D now. Sorry. Join our Discord for, all sorts of fun community things, chat with the cast, tips and tricks on how to flavor your campaign for an ancient Greek settings. Or maybe we'll branch out and create a Candela Obscura corner for like fan chat about that and stuff like that. I need to actually get a handle on Discord, or very least start making more people like mods so they can add channels of their own and like help me build out the architecture. But all of that and more there. And that's me.
Alrighty, and then our bad to the bone guest, Odette Virla, my darling.
Hello. I play D&D sometimes. It's usually over here. I also have an Instagram, virla.louise with an E at the end. But that's me.
Hey, Bernadette.
Hi. Yes, most places on the internet you can find me at mar_innated, except for the whole Instagram threads shebang, where you can find me at it's mar_innated. Also, Hannah,
I am
bowing to you. This was so good.
Yeah.
Thank you. I had so much fun. Oh, thank you. I am Hannah, Raging Babe Writes. You can find me either on that or it's a tardy writer for my professional accounts. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us and going through the trials, tribulations, and deep betrayals of our lovely investigators today.